Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. I'm Paul Dottino. He's Matt Citak. We're going to be here for the next hour to talk Giants football with you, specifically Super Bowl plays, but we'll get to that in just a second. As a reminder, if you're not watching this show live, catch it on the archive, your favorite podcast platforms everywhere, and at giants.com/podcasts. Our number, if you'd like to participate, and this should be a fun show because I got a feeling there'll be a lot of different opinions here, and once again, no opinion is wrong in this case. 201-939-4513. Matt, it is Super Bowl week, okay? And so, I know the Giants haven't been there in a few years, but let's face it, they've got some kind of history when it comes to Super Bowls. They've been to 5 of them. Won 4, but been to 5. So what I kind of decided was, maybe in this show, to kind of get the fans thinking a little bit and getting themselves in a Giants frame of mind, we would ask you guys, aside from the David Tyree helmet catch and the Mario Manningham toe tap down the sideline in the 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots, what is your favorite Giants play from their 5 Super Bowl appearances? Now, if for some reason...
Call it 4. I don't think there's any favorite plays from that other Super Bowl.
Ron Dixon's kickoff return for a touchdown was pretty dynamic.
That is true. But
and,
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
But I get
you
it.
there,
No, actually, you know what? The defense did not play badly in that game. I think the Ravens were 4 of 14 on third down, or 3 of 14 on third down, and only had... I want to say 225 yards of total offense. They didn't do that much offensively against the Giants in that game. They had a couple of plays, but not much.
But even so, that is like
it was the Giants.
The Super Bowl that is not discussed.
No, it's not, and I get that. The Giants' offense was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
I mean, what they have, about 130 yards, was it, of total offense?
Something like that.
They were dreadful.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis literally gobbled up Tiki Barber.
Yeah.
It was really bad. I get it. I totally get it. But Ron Dixon will always have a kickoff return for a touchdown in a Super Bowl.
That is true.
And so, in any case, if somebody out there is a huge Ron Dixon fan, maybe that's your pick. And then you have a right to have that.
Fair enough.
Okay? What I actually did, believe it or not, I did go through each of the Giants' 5 Super Bowls, and my favorite play from that Super Bowl is Ron Dixon's 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And why wouldn't it be?
From that Super Bowl.
From that Super Bowl.
Yes.
I picked one play from each of the Giants' 5 Super Bowls.
Okay.
And then we can discuss, and you can get me to whittle it down to just one if you'd like. But I did pick one from each of the games. 201-939-4513 is our phone number right here on Giants.com. Now, I told you about what we were going to do earlier, so I don't know if you were able to glean and come up with one or if you had a few.
Well, so...
It's okay if you have a few.
I do have a few, but I thought you were saying just your number one favorite
and that's
Super
okay,
Bowl play.
But I'm sure you considered a few.
Which I didn't even follow that because I have 3. But,
okay.
But... the 3 plays that I chose are all from the last 2 Super Bowls because
no kidding.
Unlike you, I unfortunately was not alive to get to witness the other ones.
I'm sorry.
And so I've obviously
wait. But
I've seen highlights.
Them,
I've watched the games. I've seen highlights.
Okay.
I've read so much about them.
Yes.
But it didn't feel genuine for me to really say what my favorite plays were from
because you didn't see them
games
live.
that I watched, 20 years later.
You disqualified the first 3 trips because you didn't see them live. That's really what you're saying?
The first 2. I was alive.
The first 2.
I was
you were alive
8
for the
years
Ravens
old
game.
for the Ravens one. I just I choose to forget that game.
Okay.
But I agree with you. In that game, the kickoff return would be the play because it was kind of the only play that's worth talking about.
It's got to be the only play.
Yeah.
I mean, what would have qualified, but it didn't make it, would have been the Jesse Armstead interception return for a touchdown had they not called Keith Hamilton for a ridiculous holding penalty on Jamal Lewis.
You can save that.
I can say that? Okay, so John Schmelk got his way out.
You can save that
Save
for
it.
later.
Save it for later.
Yeah, but read it. I'm here to see
During the show?
Yeah.
Okay. John has now left the room and has slipped me his pick for his favorite Giants Super Bowl play.
So I have 3
But
plays.
he's laughing on the way out, which
He
means
is.
this is gonna be something really funny.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
so-
like a real goof.
So it is probably. So I chose 3 plays, and
Okay.
they're both, or the 3 are from the last 2 Super Bowls. So if you would like to start with the first 2 Super Bowls and the plays that you chose.
Well, you want to go backwards? What did you pick from 46? I have one from 46.
From 46.
What did you take?
And the way that I kind of thought about that, I mean, obviously you said we're disqualifying the Tyree and Manningham catches, which
We have to.
yeah,
we have
those
to.
are the 2 best
Those are
plays.
historic.
I mean, the Tyree catch is probably the greatest Super Bowl play, period. Not
Yes.
even Giants.
Yes.
Period.
Correct.
So I chose some plays that I thought kind of just get overlooked when you talk about these Super Bowl victories for the Giants.
And that's fine.
And so for me, in Super Bowl 46, the play that I went with was Chase Blackburn's interception of Tom Brady. There you go. Great minds.
Blackburn.
Great minds think alike. For anyone that does not remember, I guess the circumstances surrounding that pick. This was I think the first play of the fourth quarter, or the second play of the fourth quarter.
First couple of play. I think it was the second
And-
play of the quarter.
New England was beginning to drive. It was 1st and 10 on their own 43, and they was winning 17-15 at the time.
That's right.
And Brady threw a 50-yard pass, 40-something yard pass to Rob Gronkowski, one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end ever.
Who was playing on a very sore ankle.
Yes.
He was gimpy.
Granted, he was. Yeah. And Chase Blackburn, who, quite frankly, up to that point of his NFL career, wasn't really known for his defensive prowess. He was,
Well, he was
a
more of a
good
run
special
stopper.
teamer.
More of a run stopper in the defense. He
More
was
so
not known for pass coverage.
Exactly. That's more what I meant. And Chase Blackburn just leaped up there right in front of Rob Gronkowski and pulled down this interception, 40 to 50 yards down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely was the highlight of Chase Blackburn's NFL career, at least as a player. I know he's coaching now, but as a player.
No doubt.
So, yeah, that is my choice for my favorite play from Super Bowl 46 and the top play outside of the Manningham touchdown.
Yeah, to
Or the
relive the
Manningham
situation, 1st and 10 for New England at their own 43 with a 17-15 lead early in the fourth quarter, and the bomb was picked off by Blackburn at the Giants' 8-yard line. 2 things were incredible about the play. Number one, that Blackburn actually tracked Gronkowski all the way down the field. You could make a case that if Gronkowski was healthy and was not gimpy, maybe Blackburn wouldn't have been able to trail him. I mean, I've joked with Chase before. Like, what were you doing covering Gronk? I've had that conversation with him, and he's like, "Hey, look, all I can tell you is that's what I had to do, and I did it, and that's it. Great." Maybe Perry Fewell, who was the Giants' defensive coordinator in that Super Bowl, maybe he understood that Gronk just didn't have enough long speed because of the injury and decided it was worth taking a chance and putting Blackburn on him. I never actually talked to Perry about that, to be frank with you. I never did. But in any event, he tracks him all the way down to the Giants' 8-yard line and then makes the leaping catch for the pick. So there were 2 things about it that just really make it a great play by Blackburn. And I remind you, folks, it's a 17-15 Patriots lead at the time. The Giants would only get the ball twice during the fourth quarter in that game. So imagine this. If the Patriots wind up going in, because it's going to be 1st and goal if Gronk catches the ball.
Yep.
Right? Even if Blackburn is able to tackle him right at the point of the catch, it's still 1st and goal. The Patriots go in for a field goal. All right, it's 20-15. Giants still have an opportunity to win the game on 1 possession. They're still only down by a score. I'm going to be honest with you. I was on the sideline when the play happened, Giants sideline, and I was an absolute wreck when that ball went in the air down towards Gronk, because I'm thinking to myself, oh no, they're going to go in for a score. He's going to catch this. Either he's going in or they're going to be set up for a score. Giants are now going to be down 24-15. They'll be down by 9. And it's early in the fourth quarter, and I'm saying to myself, all right, that's a real pickle against Tom Brady. How are you coming back from 2 scores down in the fourth quarter, knowing that he's also going to get a chance to have the ball too?
Yep.
I honestly believe that play was the linchpin in the game. And I understand Mario Manningham's catch on the final drive. I totally understand that. Unbelievable throw, unbelievable catch. But without Blackburn's pick, I'm not sure the Giants win the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because even if that ball drops incomplete, New England has the ball 2nd and 10 on their own 43. I'm not going to say chances are, but there is a decent chance that they put together a pretty long drive and at the very least get 3 points out of it. And instead of the Giants getting the ball back down 2 with 14 minutes left, they could be getting the ball back down 5 with, 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
And that next drive that they put together, they didn't even get any points on.
Right.
They ended up punting the ball. So they needed the second drive of the fourth quarter in order to score that game-winning touchdown, which eventually got them the win. So, yeah, I'm with you. If Chase Blackburn doesn't make that play, I don't think the Giants win the Super Bowl. I really don't.
I'm inclined to agree. So that was easy.
Yeah.
That was easy, for me at least. And, folks, any of you younger or older folks, for that matter, who remember watching that game, maybe you have a different play. Because there were a number of big plays in that game. Okay, there certainly were. But for me and for Matt, we're going Chase Blackburn. And again, there's no wrong answer here. There may be other reasons why you have a different favorite play. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have another one from 46 or 42 now you want to go to?
Let's go to 42.
Okay, go ahead.
But just very quickly before we dive in, I just want to give a very quick shout out because it was just announced.
Do it.
Darius Slayton was named the 2025 Alan Page Community Award winner. Well deserved.
Guy's a pro's pro.
He's a great guy.
Great guy.
And so Darius winning this award means that the NFLPA is donating $100,000 to Darius's charity that he, does a lot of work with. What's it called? The Left Hand, Right Hand Foundation. He's done a lot of work with this organization over the years. And so they just named him the winner of this award. So I just wanted to give him a very quick shout out because
I'm glad you did.
Well deserved.
He also was the recipient of the George Young Good Guy Award this year from the New York Giants beat reporters for his courtesy, his cooperation, and his professionalism in the Giants locker room.
And he is the Giants nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Correct.
So all of these being connected shouldn't surprise you with just the type of person that Darius is.
And I will say this again. I hope he's still here. I just think that there's going to be another team that's going to offer him a really sweet deal and pull him away. He's a really not just a quality teammate, but a hell of a receiver too. Averaging 15 yards a catch for his career. I mean, they don't grow on trees. He's a really, really good dude to have on a team, and I just think he's going to get a really sweet offer to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think he definitely played a part in some of Malik Neighbors' success this year.
Without a doubt.
He was the veteran of the room that Malik could kind of turn to for advice, counseling, anything like that. So, yeah, I hope he's back tw
Couldn't agree with you more.
We'll see. All right,
you got
back
one
to
for
Super Bowl.
42. Well, you
so
got
this
two
is
for
the
42.
one where I have two.
You have two.
But I do have the winner of the two.
Okay.
But I want to mention both because the other one that is, I guess, would be my second place finish in Super Bowl 42. This guy, just between those two Patriots Super Bowls, I had to give him a shout out because he deserves it for the way he played in both of those games.
Okay.
So if that didn't give it away, I'm talking about Justin Tuck because he had 2 sacks in both Super Bowls. I believe the only player in NFL history with multiple sacks in multiple Super Bowls. And so the play that I'm referring to is the strip sack he had of Tom Brady right before the end of the first half.
Huge play.
The Patriots had the ball 1st and 10 on the 44-yard line. There was 22 seconds left. So given the time frame, chances are they're not scoring a touchdown, but all they need is one pass completion from Tom Brady to be in field goal range,
right,
and make it a 7-point lead going into halftime because the Giants were down 7-3 at this point. Justin Tuck gets into the backfield, strips the ball from Tom Brady's hands. O.C. Umenyiora recovers. Giants get to go into the halftime, only down 7-3 instead of down 10-7, or worse. It's possible they could have gotten to the end zone. So, just wanted to give Justin a little shout out because, again, 2 sacks in both Super Bowl wins, only player to do so, deserved a little bit of recognition.
It was a very strong consideration for me when I pick my play from that game, but it could not beat my number one play.
Yeah, I feel like we might have the same number one play again. But
Yeah.
So we're obviously Super Bowl 42. Everyone talks about the helmet catch.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of plays later, everyone remembers the Plaxico touchdown to give the Giants the lead.
Mm-hmm.
However, in between those two plays, there was one play that was monumental to the Giants scoring that last touchdown. Well, I guess there was more than one, but the one that I'm talking about,
Strong consideration, but I didn't go there.
the one
But
that
go
I'm
ahead.
talking about is the Giants had the ball. I just want to get the exact situation
Please
correct.
do.
3rd and 11 with 45 seconds left on New England's 25-yard line, and they are down 14-10. So they need a touchdown to win.
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 11, Eli Manning finds Steve Smith towards the sideline. Rookie wide receiver Steve Smith at this point.
Yes, sir. Who had missed most of the year because of injury.
Yes. Steve Smith not only makes the catch, but is able to toe tap his way up the sideline a couple extra yards to get the first down before getting absolutely walloped by, who was it, Brandon Merriweather of the Patriots. And he just gets the first down, which gives the Giants 1st and 10 on New England's 13-yard line. And the very next play is the touchdown pass to Plaxico Burress. Now,
Right.
without that play, could the Giants have still scored a touchdown? Sure, it's possible. Even if he caught the ball and didn't get the first down, they would have been facing a 4th and maybe 2, 3, 4 yards where they don't get it, the game is over. But he was able to fight his way up the sideline, get the first down, which set the Giants up. That Steve Smith catch, I feel like, is so overlooked and under-talked about, despite the fact that it set up the game-winning touchdown by Plaxico Burress. And yet it gets no recognition. Whenever anyone brings up Super Bowl 42, no one ever brings up that play. So that was my selection.
I think because it was a 3rd down. That's why.
I get, but 3rd and 11. It's not
Look,
like it was, 3rd and 3
I
and he
get
picked
it.
up 4 yards.
I absolutely get it. I think had it been a 4th down play like Bobby Johnson made against the Minnesota Vikings back in 1986, had it been a 4th down play, I think it would have a lot more recognition. I happen to agree with you. It's one of my 3 favorite plays from that game. Okay? But I'm going with Brandon Jacobs. Because for me, 17-14 game, New England, 1:34 left in the 4th quarter. 4th and 1 for the Giants, and Jacobs is able to gain 2 yards. He gets stepped on, okay, as he tries to go behind right guard. He trips up, falls forward behind right guard Richie Seubert. And because actually it wasn't right guard, it was left guard. Richie had pulled behind Snee, trips Brandon Jacobs, and then he falls forward behind Richie and behind Chris Snee. They actually gave him credit for 2 yards on the play. Now, I'm going to tell you something, folks.
I don't think he got 2 yards.
No. Now, it was a legitimate spot in that it was a first down. He did make the first down.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. No one would ever argue it. Even if they had a laser on it, he would have gotten the first down. But it was probably by about a half of a football.
I was going to say, it was by inches and not a full
Okay.
yard, which is what he got credit for.
And so that plunge, if you will, by Brandon Jacobs, hence one of the reasons why I like having a Mack truck in my running back room.
That's fair.
With all due respect, love Ahmad Bradshaw. If he's got that ball instead of Brandon Jacobs, he probably doesn't make that first down.
I'm with you.
That's a big boy first down.
Oh, yeah.
So, smash mouth first down. The Giants go on a 12-play, 83-yard drive, culminating in the Plaxico Burress touchdown, and of course they win the game. Excuse me. Now, my point on that one, and the reason that it's such a favorite play for me, a lot of reasons. One, it was a 4th down conversion, and the game's over if he doesn't make it. 2, it's Brandon Jacobs, who we all know is one of the legendary fan favorites, especially from that era of New York Giants football. I'm personally great friends with Brandon, so it's a big deal for me personally as well. But then the other thing is obviously, you talk about a game that was so nip and tuck where just a matter of inches could have made the difference. And he trips on Richie's ankle as Richie pulls from the left guard spot. I mean, thank goodness he still made it. So, due to the circumstances as well, that's my favorite play. But trust me, when I say to you, the Tuck play crossed my mind immediately. The Steve Smith play crossed my mind immediately. And so did the Brandon Jacobs play. But I always gravitate to the Jacobs play.
Yeah, I mean, the play that I talked about, the Steve Smith catch, the Plaxico burst, touchdown, those plays don't happen unless Brandon Jacobs picks up that first down. It's game over otherwise. So,
how many times have we lived that drive in our minds? I mean, it's just, what still ticks me off is that Amani Toomer on the third down pass play before Jacobs converts the fourth down, they marked Toomer just shy of the first down. Now, I've watched the damn play about 25, 30 times. It's really close. I don't know if he got it or not. It's really close. I suspect they probably marked it correctly. I think he was probably just a tad short, probably, by an index card. Gene Steratore index card, okay? Probably. But, if that's marked the first down, then the fourth down Jacobs play never even has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's my pick from Super Bowl 42. Now, Super Bowl 35, we discussed this. Ron Dixon's 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown is one of the very few. And when I say very few, I'm talking about you need a microscope to find Giants highlights in that game. Okay? But it is. Ron Dixon, late third quarter, 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, makes it 17-7 as they're trying to come back against the Ravens. And then what happens? Jermaine Lewis takes the ensuing kickoff and runs that one back for a touchdown. And boom, boom, boom. Game is over. Giants are buried. And that's the end of the night. But momentarily, for whatever it was, I don't know, 13 seconds that it took Ron Dixon to run that kickoff back into the end zone, I actually thought the Giants had a chance to come back.
Yeah.
Momentarily. So that's got to be my favorite play from that Super Bowl. All right, and I think we both already discussed this earlier. There's really nothing else to debate about that game. I mean, I feel terrible that Jesse Armstead lost a pick six because they called a phantom hold on Keith Hamilton on Jamal Lewis, the running back. That play, may I say this? People don't realize, I believe the Ravens didn't have more than 250 yards of total offense in that game, and they were like 3 for 14 third down. Do you have the box?
No, this is...
I'm curious. Most people, the Giants lost 34-7, and most people just think that was an entire whitewash. Don't besmirch the Giants' defense like that. The Giants' defense played a good game.
Baltimore had 244 total yards.
There you go. And what was their third down attempts?
Third down, 3 for 16.
Do I really need to say anything else? Trust me, I know, folks. I was there. I watched it every last freaking second of it. And as disgusting as the score was, and it was one of the worst landslides score-wise in Super Bowl history, you can't tell me the Giants' defense did not come to play that day.
Yeah,
they did everything they could do.
Trent Dilfer, the Ravens starting quarterback, completed under 50% of his passes for 153 yards and 1 touchdown.
I mean, Giants couldn't do anything with the ball. Ray Lewis destroyed Tiki Barber. Kerry Collins had one of the worst games of his career, and the Giants got crushed on the scoreboard. But I will tell you something. If Jesse's touchdown return goes in the books, that's a very different ball game.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. I think it's a very different ball game. I'm not going to tell you the Giants win that game. I won't do that. But I guarantee you it's a hell of a lot more competitive. And Trent Dilfer was the Ravens quarterback. Yep. Okay? Now, if the Giants get that touchdown, that would have made it 17-7. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that the Ravens get the ball on the ensuing kickoff, and instead of Lewis going back the other way to make it 24-7, let's just say it's 17-7. And now Dilfer, for the first time all day, is backed up at around his own 20-yard line. Giants got a good pass rush going. Griffin, Hamilton, and Strahan all had good games that day. Okay? Let's just say now they put some heat on Trent Dilfer, and it's a 17-7 game, and he was also known for turning the ball over. Who's to say that the Giants don't do some business right there as they tilt the field, and now this game becomes a little bit more competitive? That's all I'm going to say. Because I know this. Ravens did not move the ball up and down the field on that team. They did not do it, and they were squashed on third down. And I just think it's an injustice for so many people to totally forget that game because those defensive players played their butts off, and they absolutely did everything they could to put a respectable performance on the field. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right. Since you were young, I'm going to go back to the 25 and 21. I'll go Super Bowl 25, and we all know about the Mark Ingram third down conversion. You've seen the highlight a billion times where he breaks 4 different tackles, converts a 3rd and 13 on a huge touchdown drive midway through the third quarter. Okay, I get it. But here's the thing for me. It's always going to be the Everson Walls tackle on Thurman Thomas near the end of the game. Okay? This is always going to be my favorite play. And by the way, you could also go Stephen Baker's diving touchdown catch.
That's the play I was going to say.
Right at the end of the first half.
If I had to choose one from that game, it probably would have been Stephen Baker's catch.
And there's nothing wrong with that because to me, there are 3 very serious contenders from this game. Baker's touchdown catch, Ingram's third down conversion, and the Everson Walls stop on Thurman Thomas.
Yep.
Now, here's the interesting part. And I don't know how many people know this, and it's been my fault, not as a Giants historian. I have not done enough to fix this. If you go back to the actual NFL game book, they do not credit Everson Walls with the tackle. I bet nobody knows this because not many people get to see the official NFL records with the actual game books that the league gives out after the game. They credited the tackle to Carl Banks. He's 58, Walls was 28. Somebody in the press box needed glasses and did not credit the. What does Pro Football Reference have?
Everson Walls.
Because they're smart. They know. So, what happens? You got minute 48 to go, 3rd and 1, and Thurman Thomas catches a 22-yard pass, left side. They got him for 22 yards?
Yep.
Okay? And Everson Walls is the only thing, and I can tell you this for a fact, whether or not you see it on TV, I can't say. But I was in the press box looking right down on the play. There was nobody between Thurman Thomas and the end zone. Nobody. And I've talked to Walls about the play many times. He was the only Giant between the hash marks and the near sideline when Thurman Thomas catches that short pass and goes out to the left and he takes off. And Walls was not known as a really big hitter or a great tackler, right? He was one of those supposed, I want to get the ball cornerbacks who wanted to do pass coverage and interceptions, but not really great in run support. Well, he takes down Thurman Thomas. He does not make that tackle. Thomas is gone. And I don't know if the Giants win the game. I'm telling you flat. So, anyway, that's my play. The game book and the NFL official stats records game book says Carl Banks made the tackle. I need to get that fixed. I need to go to the league. I need to go to Elias, whoever I have to go to. I got to get that fixed. It's been so many years now. I never got off my butt and got it fixed. But Walls needs to get credit for it. I'm glad Pro Football Reference has it correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the other play, which I don't know if technically qualifies as a Giants play, but Scott Norwood's missed field goal. If you want to call it the Giants special teams unit forcing the missed field goal.
You're stretching it.
I know.
You're stretching it.
But the Giants don't win the game unless he misses that field goal.
If you want to go along those lines, how about Hostetler holding the ball in the end zone? when Bruce Smith comes in and tries to knock it out of his wrist or knock his wrist to get the ball free, the fact that Haas held on to that ball, it was only a safety.
Yeah.
Instead of a touchdown, huge play. Huge play. Again, you want to put that in there too? And you want to put Norwood in there too? There are 5 different plays. Okay? 5 right there. Any one of them could qualify. All right. Anyway, I'm going to Everson Walls. Again, I was really tight with Walls when he was here. That's also a little personal thing for me. And the fact that he had a reputation for not being a tackler and he makes the biggest tackle in the game, I'm going there. In fact, it was so cool he wound up on Sports Illustrated's cover, as you remember.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go Everson Walls. All right. Super Bowl 21. Late in the second quarter, my man George Martin, one of my all-time favorite Giants, nails John Elway for a safety that cuts Denver's lead to 10-9. Now, once again, there are a lot of plays in this game that you can pick. You can pick the McConkey deflection to Bavaro in the end zone for a lot of reasons. Okay, people love McConkey. They love Bavaro. You could easily go there. You could go, if you like, no question about it, you can go to the consecutive plays on the mid-second quarter, the goal line stand before Carlos misses the field goal. Taylor, Banks, and Carson each make a tackle inside the Giants' 5-yard line, forcing Carlos to kick a field goal that he misses. It's the greatest goal line stand in Super Bowl history. You could go there, pick any one of those plays if you like. No problem. I go with George Martin's safety. And there's a few reasons. Number one, George is one of my all-time favorite Giants. Number two, that was a play which made it a 10-9 game. And at that point, you know, as Parcells would always tell you people years later, went into halftime feeling, hey, they've played about as well as they can. We haven't done a whole lot, and it's only 10-9. We're going to go out there and kick their butts in the second half. And that's exactly what the Giants did. Having said that, though, George's safety was a huge play. I mean, we all know how dangerous John Elway was. And his mobility, his strength, his size, for George to plow through the Denver Broncos line and make sure that he got Elway and brought him down. Didn't just get there, but brought him down. That was hard to do. Made it a 10-9 game. And I will tell you, being in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl, when George Martin got him for that safety, not that I ever thought the Giants were going to lose the game, because I didn't. I had always thought the Giants would win the game. I never doubted it for a second. But the George Martin safety is what really got my blood pumping. The oregano started flying. The sauce was simmering, baby. It was bubbling. When George nailed that you-know-what in the end zone, that's when I really started to get the blood pumping. So I'm going George Martin safety in Super Bowl 21.
Yeah, that would have been my pick as well. You know, sparked the 26 unanswered points by the Giants. You know, they ended up 33-10 before the Broncos would score again. Again, right before halftime, give you a little positive momentum going into the locker room. So yeah, that would have been my choice. And you already mentioned this, but the McConkey touchdown would have been my second choice. Turns out that touchdown, you know, wasn't exactly monumental to the win.
Well, they were kicking their butts.
They
had Denver on the ground.
But I guess you could call it a little bit of good luck, good fortune, the way the ball like bounced off of Bavaro and McConkey standing right there. But it's just a cool play to see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But the safety, definitely.
And for McConkey, remember now, he caught the flea flicker. The Joe Morris handoff back to Sims to the flea flicker, and he gets upended inside the 5-yard line, and he was crushed because he didn't get the touchdown.
Yep.
So when he caught the Bavaro deflection for the touchdown, it meant the world to him. I mean, he just went nuts because it was his score that he had been dreaming about. All right, folks, that's it. We took oh my goodness, we took a long time. We took over a half hour.
So if you have to pick one, who are you going with?
If I had to pick one of all of these. Of all of these 5 of my 5, believe it or not, I'm probably going with Brandon Jacobs.
That's fair.
Because it was the undefeated Patriots. And
Totally
without
reasonable.
Jacobs getting the fourth down, the rest of that drive probably never happens, and the Patriots are able to achieve history.
Yeah, that is totally fair. I'm going to probably have to go with the Chase Blackburn interception.
And I get it.
I would want to pick one, in theory, from that first Super Bowl against the Patriots for the exact reason you brought up, beating the undefeated team, the team trying to go 19-0 for the first time in NFL history. But that second Super Bowl win almost felt even better because that's sort of like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me.
It justifies
beating them twice, making Eli the only quarterback to beat Brady and Belichick twice in the Super Bowl makes it just that much sweeter. So I'm going with Blackburn.
I totally understand that. And quite honestly, again, the athleticism that Blackburn showed on the play, which was so surprising considering the rest of his career, that certainly was a much more spectacular play than Brandon Jacobs tripping over Richie's ankle and falling forward for a first down.
Yeah, in his 10-year career, spanning 132 games, Chase Blackburn had 4 interceptions, not including that one in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
4 regular season interceptions in 132
And none of them were
games.
downfield like that one.
No.
Oh, this was fun, man. I'm glad we decided to
What
do
did
this
John
today.
say?
Oh.
John says his pick is interesting. He gives me a legit play.
We didn't even discuss this one.
Corey Webster's pass breakup on Randy Moss on the final drive. There were 2 consecutive Hail Mary plays down the left sideline by Tom Brady at the end of Super Bowl 42. Both times, Corey Webster has the defense on Moss, and on the first one, he gets him with his fingernail. Knocks the ball away literally with his fingernail. Yeah. I've often joked with Corey that I'm glad you didn't clip your nails that day because they would have completed the pass. I've had that conversation with Corey 1,000 times. The second time they try it again, Jabril Wilson gets over there. They credit Wilson for the deflection. I'm not sure if it was him or if it was Webster or both were able to get their tips on that ball. But very, very fair. Again, Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 25 in particular have so many critical plays that if any one of them had gone the other way, the Giants may not have won.
Yep.
That's how incredible those 2 games were in particular, more so than even the others. 42 and 25 were just off the charts with drama every step of the way. So, good pick by John, too. And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. Folks, we go to your calls at 201-939-4513. We got about, maybe 20 minutes to go. If you guys want to chime in with your favorite non-Tyree and non-Manningham Giants Super Bowl moment. We go to Aiden in New Jersey on line 1. You're first on the program. Hello.
Hey, so given the fact that I've been alive for 2 of the Giants Super Bowls, and I only was old enough to remember one of them, I know you said there's no wrong answers, but I'm going to go with the Ahmad Bradshaw game-winning touchdown.
Okay.
And, Paul, I have a question for you. I was wondering what was going through your mind during that moment, and what did you think about that? Take it off there since you have some other people and you're short on time.
Sure.
Thanks, Aiden.
With about a minute left in the game, the Giants call a draw to Bradshaw. And the idea is he's supposed to stop short of the goal line. We all know, right? He's supposed to lay down and let more clock run off. And then the Giants, in all honesty, they're thinking that they'll probably set up for what's going to be a game-winning field goal. That's what Eli tells them in the huddle. That's what the play was when they called it in. And Bradshaw, in a momentary lapse of football sanity, runs down to the 1, realizes that I'm not supposed to go in, and then his momentum.
You see him try to stop at the last second.
He really does.
He kind of just slowly tumbles into the end zone.
Okay, and he falls over and scores the touchdown. And so the Giants wind up winning the game 21-17 because they were able to stop. By the way, another play that we could mention easily is the Hail Mary at the end of the game that Kenny Phillips knocks down in the end zone. Gronk has a chance at that ball.
Yeah. I was going to say, you talked about the on that Chase Blackburn interception when the ball was in the air, what was going through your mind? That was my thinking on that Hail Mary.
Really?
Especially as the ball gets like deflected. I'm like, oh, no. Please, no.
I know.
I was convinced in the moment that Gronk was going to come down with the deflection and game over. And that would have been obviously the most heartbreaking, crushing Super Bowl loss ever. So thank God that did not happen.
So Aiden, to answer your question, I was down on the Giants sideline for the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl. Don Sperling, who was our boss, our vice president of production, was with me. And we were down at about the 15-yard line or so, 10 to 15-yard line, right down there near where Bradshaw got the handoff. And I was saying to Don, my God, there's too much time left for Brady. You know, he's going to have too much time. But you got to score the touchdown. You got to get the touchdown. If you can take it in, you still got to get the touchdown. And my reasoning was because if you got the touchdown in the PAT, okay, you're going to be up by 4. Brady needs more than a field goal then to catch you. Now, I would have felt differently about not going into the end zone if the Giants had only been up then by 3. But I'm thinking they're going to get the touchdown. You get the PAT. You got a 4-point lead. Brady's got to go the distance now instead of just getting to maybe the 35 where, you know, they could kick a field goal and send the game into overtime.
Yeah.
I would have felt differently. But I wanted them to score a touchdown. I was just hoping that they would milk a little bit more time.
Same here.
And when Bradshaw scored, I was very happy for him and the team. But I remember saying to Don, okay, Brady's got about a minute left. That minute, let's just say there were a number of times I thought I was going to hurl my cookies because it was a tough minute. It was a tough minute, especially when he converts that 4th down.
Yep.
Okay? He converts a 4th down on that drive, that ensuing drive. I thought one of two things. Either I was going to pass out or I was going to hurl on the sideline.
Or both.
It was as gut-wrenching of 1 minute that I've ever felt in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Even worse than the Bills. You know, because I was at Super Bowl 25, too. I've been to all 5 of them. And, you know, I watched Jim Kelly get that ball to Thomas. And I saw Everson Walls make the tackle. And I saw Mark Collins makes an incredible tackle as well, right before the field goal. Mm-hmm. If Mark Collins does not make a tackle, I believe it was on Thomas, right before the attempted Norwood field goal, if he doesn't make that tackle and they get another 5 or something yards closer, Norwood makes the field goal. Collins had to make that tackle right there in order for Norwood to miss. So many plays. But, yeah. Okay. Aiden, there's your answer. We go back to the phones. Len in Maryland, you're next on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Hello.
Hey, guys. Oh, great conversation. Great conversation.
We thought we'd have some fun today, right? Why not?
Let me see if I can add a couple of things. I saw Super Bowl I in a dorm room with a bunch of my classmates in graduate school and made a promise to myself and to the crowd that the first time the Giants got there, I was going. Mm-hmm. Now, it took me 21 years, Paul, to get there, as you know.
I get it.
But I got there.
Yep.
And that play that you mentioned with George Martin sacking Elway in the end zone right in front of me. I was in that end zone.
I was on the goal line, Len. It was right in front of me, too. I was on the goal line.
Oh, my goodness. I'd have said hello if I knew that, Paul. That was a terrific play. And, you know, it's not a single play, but I'm just going to mention some numbers to you, and you'll be able to relate to it. Both of you guys will be able to relate to it. 22 for 25 for 275 and 3.
Yep.
Wow. What a Super Bowl performance. And at the end of that Super Bowl, in that fourth quarter, when we were rolling, as Matt pointed out, the lights glaring off those blue helmets, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven, Paulie.
It was remarkable, wasn't it?
Really, really remarkable. other end of the spectrum, the last Super Bowl in Indianapolis, I was lucky enough to get there. Won the team lottery, got myself 2 tickets, and the wife and I headed out and couldn't get into Indianapolis. Had to stay in Louisville. Drove up a couple hours up the interstate to the game in Indianapolis, and I thought that last pass down into the end zone. I was in the other end of the stadium. I was in the Bradshaw end, and it happened right in front of Bradshaw. Play happened right in front of me. But the last play was in the other end zone, as you guys know. Yes, it was. And it just took me like two, maybe 3 seconds to realize that the ball had actually hit the ground. And the noise started from that end zone all the way down through the stands to my end zone. Yeah. And it took a couple of seconds to get there before everybody around me, all Giants fans, because it was part of the lottery, and that the ball hit the ground, and we were all great sense of relief. Let me say something about the Blackburn play, if I may. A middle linebacker 50 yards down the field.
Nuts, right?
Covering Rob Gronkowski. When he made that play on the 7-8 yard line, whatever it was, I turned to my wife and I said, "Don't worry, we're going to win this game."
Oh, I'm glad you knew. You could have told me. You couldn't have texted me, Glenn. I mean, come on. You could have texted me. That was, by the way, for those of you who may not remember, that was the same end zone where the Hail Mary took place as well.
Yep. Oh my goodness, yes, same. That's right. But it was just so funny that Hail Mary. It took time for the noise to get to the other end. Everybody was standing and looking around everybody, and finally we realized what had happened. What a relief. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some great moments in the Super Bowl. Banks' play on that goal line stand. Holy cow. That's about as,
Well, all 3 linebackers, Lan. It was Banks, Taylor, and Carson. All 3 of them. They had consecutive stops inside the 5.
I know, but somehow Carl stands out. And let me give you an
the LT one was pretty sweet too.
Remember this on that last drive in 2008. Jay Alford sacked Brady
plastered
on that last drive.
Plastered him.
God bless Jay Alford.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he ever had another sack with us, and he was the short snapper of the long snappers. We had 2 that year, as you remember.
Correct.
And I just thought, oh my goodness, if I ever see Jay Alford, I'm going to say, I remember you, and I remember that great play. Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, thanks for giving me the opportunity to just some great memories.
Thank you, Len.
Thanks, Len.
Appreciate the call. 201-939-4513.
So he brought up Jay Alford, and I'm glad he did, because that sack I was considering as well, because that was obviously a potential game-saving play. It was huge. But I just want to touch on one thing, in that when I started my first season working here back in 2019,
Alfred was
I was an intern
with you, right?
And I get to my desk, and I literally look at the desk right next to me, like a little bit further away from how close you and I are sitting right now, and sitting right next to me is Jay Alford. Yeah. And my first thought is, holy bleep, that is Jay Alford, who sacked Brady in the last minute of the Super Bowl. I'll never forget that. And yes, Jay Alford did work here. There used to be a program where former players would sort of serve as interns on the business side of the organization, and I believe Jay Alford was the last player to do it, and that was the 2019 season.
He might have.
I don't know if that's when he started, but that is when he finished.
Kevin Dockery did it a year or two.
Yeah,
right?
before Alford.
I forget who else.
I think there was at least one other player.
Hynoski did it.
I think so. Yeah.
Henry Hynoski did it.
Yeah.
Alfred, by the way, a graphics designer, works at Fanatics. I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody, but helps design football cards and things of that nature for Fanatics. Yeah.
Very cool.
Always glad to see Jay. 201-939-4513. Okay, Charlie in Maine. I don't expect any negativity in this call. You're going to give me a Super Bowl highlight, Charlie, and no negativity allowed.
Hey, Len kind of took who I was going to say that play, Alfred's sack.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, man, Brady should have fumbled that ball. If he had just used his arm a little bit to swipe at the ball, Brady would have fumbled that thing. And he kind of hit him, and it kind of hugged him and kept the ball, from falling out. But that was a great play. But I was just going to say, in those last plays when they had the ball with, a minute left or whatever the heck it was, you remember the first play? I think it was Welker who was wide open down the middle. And Brady
you're
threw
talking.
the ball.
Oh, now you're mixing up the two Super Bowls, Charlie. Alfred was in Super Bowl 42. The Welker play.
No,
you're talking about the Edelman play. You're talking about in 46.
Yeah, it was Edelman. It was Edelman. It was Edelman when the first play
Pearson,
that
you
Brady
remember that
threw-
play, don't you? Little jab. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, that first play that Brady threw. This is 2008. The first play he threw.
All right. You want to go back to 42 again? Go ahead.
Yeah, he threw the ball down the middle, and there was I think it was Edelman or whoever the slot guy was at that time. He was wide open, but Brady threw it to, I don't know if the receiver went left and he was supposed to go right.
Do you have
but
that one
he
up?
threw it.
I don't remember
that play,
Charlie. I'll
Paul?
be frank with you. I don't remember. You're talking about Brady's first snap in Super Bowl 42 after the Giants took the lead.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to have Matt look it up. I don't remember that specific play, to be frank with you.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
Alfred's sack. I remember the two passes to Moss at the end. I don't remember
It was
the first
before
play.
the Alfred sack, the first play, and I don't understand. And the guy was open. I don't understand why they went deep when all he needed was a field goal to tie the game. I thought they would just, go 15 yards, 20 yards, and just keep moving until they got in field goal position. But they went deep twice, which didn't make sense to me, especially when the first throw he had, if you look back and watch that.
We're
throw,
watching it now. The first throw was down just across midfield, but the Giants had zone coverage out there, and I think even if he'd gone to the logo, there was going to be at least one or two Giants that might have had a chance to stop him.
Yeah, but he was open.
He had room.
Right?
Oh, he had room because
Yeah.
they were playing deep zone.
Yeah, I just don't understand why he didn't go back to it. I mean, why he went for deep passes instead of just incrementally going, 10 yards, 20 yards, get in field goal range and call it good. But that was a mistake on their part. And the other thing that really got me mad is when Brady, both Super Bowls, and even in the Philadelphia Super Bowl, when it was fourth down, he was almost tackled 3 times, one in each game. JPP almost had him, and then somebody else almost had him, and then I think Graham almost had him, and he got away to get that stupid Hail Mary off 3 times. That was disgusting.
I know. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I mean, really, as I alluded to earlier, in 46 on that last drive, there's a fourth down conversion that he makes where he's got no business making that play.
Yeah, I mean, and they almost got him 3 times.
I think Tuck
and
and
got
JPP
away.
almost had shots at him on that play. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Alfred's. That was what I was going to say. Len beat me to it. Hello, Len. Hope everything's well with you. But I just didn't understand why Brady didn't go back to that play in the middle, because he was open, and just take 20 yards, 15 yards, do it again, do an out route on the sideline, get ready for a field goal and kick it. But they went deep. Thank God they did.
I will say this too, Charlie, and I said this right after the game was over, and I remember talking to some of the Patriots beat folks in the press room following the game in Arizona, 42. And I remember asking them, I was like, look, I'm one of the biggest Belichick fans you're ever going to meet. But why in the world did he have Ellis Hobbs one-on-one against Plexico Burress down there in the red zone?
Yeah.
That made absolutely zero sense. As soon as the Giants lined up and Burris went out there, he turned, he looked at Eli, he gave him a nod. Eli saw him, gave him a nod. I knew. When they came out of the huddle, Charlie, the guy from the Buffalo News was sitting next to me, and he was screaming. He was actually on my right side. He was screaming because he was anti-patriot. And you're not supposed to scream. If you're a media, you're not supposed to say anything, right? We're sitting in the stands, okay? Remember where Moss caught the touchdown? I'm going to tell you guys a personal story. We're going to end on this one, Charlie. So I'm in the upper deck in the corner of the end zone where Moss catches the touchdown pass when Corey Webster slips and falls. And the Patriots have the lead. And I said to the Buffalo News guy, now he's furious. He's just angry as heck because he's been yelling anti-Patriots the whole game. And I'm being quiet. I'm being cool, which is very hard for me, but I'm doing it. And I say to the guy, don't worry, Eli's got this. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, trust me, Eli's got this. They left him too much time. He's going downfield. He's got this. Now, of course, there was the Jacobs play. There was the Toomer play. There was the Smith play. There was the Tyree play. Then Tyree almost on the left side, when they get down into Patriots territory, there's another one that's very dangerous that could have actually gone the other way too. So a number of plays during the course of that drive. Anyway, they get down to the catch where Steve Smith gets the first down. Now, when they come out after that play and they break the huddle, I say to the guy from the Buffalo News, I hit him on the arm, and I said, touchdown, left corner, Burris. And he just looks at me because I knew I was behind. I was a full field behind. I had an end zone shot from the back. As soon as they lined up, anybody who knows anything about football could tell you from the pre-snap formation, it was man-to-man on Burris. He was on the left side, what would have been my sideline, that I'm looking right down the sideline, and he's got man-to-man. And I'm like, there ain't no way in hell that Hobbs is going to be able to defend Burris. This is a touchdown. So I hit him. I go, touchdown, Burris, left corner. And he just looks at me. Eli snaps the ball, throws the touchdown. He looks at me. He's like, oh, my God. I said, I told you.
The Giants ran that exact play to Plaxico all season, all regular season.
It's a no-brainer.
Anyone that prepared for the Giants should have known they get close to the red zone, they're throwing that fade to Plaxico.
Burris had 5 inches on Hobbs.
Yeah.
There's no way Hobbs is going to be able to make that play. As long as Eli dumps it over, it's a touchdown. Now,
But remember,
Burris was hurt.
Injured.
Yes, he was.
He was hurt. He didn't do much in the whole game.
Correct.
That's true.
So
Correct.
That's probably why Belichick thought, look, this guy's injured. We can put one-on-one on him.
I think that's what he believed.
That must have been.
But you know what, Charlie? You're in the red zone. You're down at the 13-yard line. Burris doesn't have to do a whole lot to get open from the 13, injured or not. You're talking about a fade route.
Burris even said he wasn't sure about his ankle.
Exactly. Exactly. Basically, he could have walked into the end zone. Now, of course, let's not forget, Brandon Jacobs comes up with a chip. He's in the backfield, and he chips the pass rusher because they sent the blitz. And he chips the pass rusher to give Eli that extra half a second to loop the ball into the left corner of the end zone on the fade route. Oh, my God. I could relive this for the next 5 years.
You know the play that really bothers me that I don't think was even close to being an interception was on the sideline when Eli threw the ball. I forget the cornerback's name.
Everybody screams that Asante Samuel should have picked that ball off. I say no.
I say no. On the sideline, it was high. If he had jumped up and got it, he would have been out of bounds.
Charlie, I love your perspective on this because you're right. I don't think that Samuel had a chance to catch that, and so many sour Patriots fans are like, well, he should have caught that interception. It would have ended the game. No.
Even if he was able to come down with the football, I don't think there's any chance he was getting both feet down. No chance.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. And he would have needed Medusa long fingernails. Isn't there that witch Medusa's got 5 foot long fingernails? He would have needed 5 foot long fingernails to come up with that pass anyway. Anyway, Charlie, thank you for the call. That was a good one.
Thanks, Charlie.
201-939-4513 for the next time that we do the program, which will be tomorrow, which is John
Not me.
and Lance tomorrow. And I'm sure they'll be talking more Super Bowl. I'm sure they'll be talking Eli Manning potentially being a Hall of Famer. We don't know. Folks, the NFL Honors Show is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. During that program, they will announce the next class of Hall of Famers. We all know Eli Manning is a first ballot possibility. Last year during that show, which also started at 9 o'clock, they announced the Hall of Famers about an hour in. So if you're interested in watching the show and trying to figure out if Eli's going to get in, figure about 10 o'clock-ish or so will be based on last year's runtime of the program, the time when they will probably announce the Hall of Famers. All right? So until then, enjoy. This was a fun hour. I hope you guys had fun too. For Matt Citak, I'm Paul Dottino. This has been Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants, and hopefully many more Super Bowl memories to come down the line. We'll see you next time.